So Down syndrome occurs in the fetus, and it's an extra chromosome. Chromosome what?
Chromosome 2. 1.
21. And that's the characteristics that causes Down syndrome. And in today's society, 1 in every 691 babies in the United States are born with Down syndrome, and about 6,000 each year. So we think that's pretty amazing, because kids with Down syndrome are pretty darn amazing. Just like everybody else in life, though, we all have a different DNA. So you can't judge Abby just because she has Down syndrome, right? Because why? You're tough, you're strong, and
And Moon and back.
I love you, Moon and back. And she works hard to do what she can do, right? So we never want to judge a child from a disability or an accommodation, because we know that every single person has a different DNA. So Abby's pretty amazing. So we want to go through some things to help Abby out. And we have more information about Down syndrome if you'd like to know more. And we will have it on ndss.com, ndss.com. And if you want to go back to the background of Down syndrome, you can go all the way back. But the expectancy of Abby's life is just like everybody else's. She could live to be 60, 70 years old, right? And Abby likes everything everybody else likes. So in Down syndrome, there is a language barrier, right, Abby? Sometimes it's hard to talk, or yeah, and sometimes it's hard for people to understand you. So what do we need to do? Slow it down, right? And then show what we need to do. So sometimes you might have to ask her the question a couple times, right? And she has small ears and a small sinus and a small mouth.
No.
And a very small nose. She has amazing eyes, right? I know your eyes are pretty amazing. And she's like everybody else, every other 11-year-old, right? What do you like to do? You like books, you like to dance, you like to sing, you love gymnastics, and you're in what? Special Olympics, huh? So she's pretty athletic. Typically, a child with Down syndrome, when they're born and as they get older, their developmental in their athletic ability sometimes is very low. But that is one thing that we knew, right, as birth, that we wanted to make sure Abby was strong. How strong are you? Very strong. So she can do cartwheels, pull-ups. She's in gymnastics. She's in track and field. So don't underestimate what Abby can do, because she is pretty darn amazing. The one thing that you do have to remember with Abby is repetition, 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 right? So the more you show her how to do something and continue to show her, she then can get it done, right? You got to be shown a couple times, huh? Yeah. But she knows, and she can be a very good friend, but she can also be, what, pretty stubborn, huh? Yeah, sometimes you can be stubborn. But do you like when people help you all the time? Or do you like to do things on your own?
I do it all
Why do you like to do it on your own?
by myself.
Why do you like to do it by yourself?
Good.
Because you're a big girl, right? Yeah. So sometimes friends like to do things for Abby, but Abby is 11 and she can do it on her own, right? So we want to make sure that you treat her like everybody else, but with her accommodations. And that's what it is, accommodations. So her developmental as far as physical is unbelievable. So when she's in basketball, baseball, track, field, anything, as long as you continue to show her how to do it, you can rock it, right? Right.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that is huge for Abby. She is an athlete, a big athlete. Huh, Abby? Now, one thing we want to make sure that you understand is that there's two different words. We have down and downs. Are you down?
No.
No. You're pretty darn happy, huh? So please don't use the word down, or, you know, the girl with Down syndrome, or her name is Abby and she's diagnosed with Down syndrome. But we want to make sure that everybody's aware that her name is Abby. So do not call her the Downs child or the kid with Down syndrome, right? Because you don't like that, do you? Okay. You don't like that, do you?
No.
No, I didn't think so. I don't like it either. What do you want them to call you?
Name Abby.
Yeah. What's your name?
Abby Moran.
Abby Mona Heinen, right? So she wants you to call her Abby Mona Heinen. Now, she does have a continental disability, which means that she does learn a little bit slower, but she can comprehend a lot. So she is pretty darn amazing when it comes to her education and what she wants to do, right? She participates in different relationships. She votes. She is a good to society. If you ask her to vote on something, give her two choices, she'll give you the answer. Her very first, you had your first board meeting, right? Did you have your first board meeting? Why did we have a board meeting? Why did we go up to the board for your first advocacy? What was happening in front of our house? People were, they were driving so fast and you were scared, right? So Abby did her very first board meeting last week. So she's learning to advocate for herself, which is extremely important in her life, right, Abby? Yeah. We need to make sure that you understand as her peers and growing with her and her team that I expect what you expect out of every other child, right? Right, Abby?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need some assistance and reminders, right? Now, one other thing about kids with Down syndrome, they have bigger tongues. We've been very blessed. Abby doesn't have that bigger tongue, but she does have braces, right? And so sometimes the braces get in her way, and you're missing quite a few teeth right now, right?
Yeah.
And she is missing some teeth. She's got 4 teeth on the top that are gone. So all she has is these teeth right here. Show them. Show them your teeth. Those teeth right there. And if she opened her mouth all the way up, there's no teeth back here. So she can only chew with these teeth right here because these ones here would get pulled because she's so tiny, they have to adjust her mouth, right? Mm-hmm. So when she eats, and because she's so tiny, she needs more time. So please don't rush her, and if she's hungry, allow her to eat. Abby is 11, but she is very tiny for an 11-year-old. You have what? Celiac disease? What does celiac disease mean? What can't you eat?
Not gluten-free.
Yeah, gluten-free food is all she can eat. So if you're doing any arts and crafts with noodles, she can only have gluten-free noodles. She can only have gluten-free Play-Doh. She can only have gluten-free candy. So when there's parties, when there are things going on, she cannot have what everybody else has, right? Because it makes you sick. And she knows. And she needs to make sure the table's washed and the hands are washed, right? And she's lactose intolerant too, which means she can't have regular milk. So please don't give her milk. One other thing that Abby has besides Down syndrome and celiac disease, she also has a thyroid condition, which also makes her very tiny. So she needs to eat quite often, huh, Abby? And she also has gastro reflux disease. So sometimes if she eats too much and goes to the gym, she will spit up and puke. So just remind yourselves of that. We need to be gentle when it comes to those kinds of things. Right, Abby? So I'm not going to do truth and lies about Down syndrome because that I will send you another PowerPoint and review for you. But really, Abby wanted to make sure that you understand that she learns visually. She likes music, right? And you learned with music and songs that keeps her engaged. You like color. Those are all things that keep her very, very engaged. She does not have a lot of limitations when it comes to physical at all because she is an athlete. She also does tennis. She's pretty darn amazing in her athlete. Very amazing. The ability for her for processing and verbally is slower, and memorization is very slow. So this year we really want to work on her math skills using a calculator. And again, we really need to make sure that we use the visual aids to help her and keep her on track and allow her to do what she needs to do in teaching, right? You don't want no one. You want to do what everybody else does, right? And you need to follow what her peers does. So she needs to have as much time with her classmates because she learns by them, huh? And makes friends. Another thing that we want to make sure that you think about is visual perception and recognition, and that she keeps reading to a complex, and she needs reading for her memory, and she needs to be taught with all visual aids. And again, she does so much better when she has photos and colors. Abby really likes to be engaged with the rest of the students. And sometimes, Abby, you like to dance and sing in class?
Yeah.
So you might have to bring her back on track. And remember, she's human. And she's going to have bad days just like everybody else, right? And she's going to have super, super good days. So please, just because she has Down syndrome doesn't mean she's always happy, because that's a myth. She is happy. She knows love, but she also is 11 years old. That's going to be 12 and can be very stubborn, like all 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Sometimes, again, she could be hard of hearing. Her feet are separated and flat. She's got which could be hard. So when she runs, sometimes you might have to pause her. She gets tired quicker. You have to remember, she is 11 years old, going to be 12, but she's not physically capable like all the kids her age. So if you're going to grade her physically, you need to make sure you grade her on what she can do, not what all the other kids can do. If you're grading her on understanding, if you're grading her on her schoolwork, academics, it all has to be accommodated to you, right, Abby? Mm-hmm. Not everybody else. But she has to live in society alone, right? And what do you want? You want to grow up and get married, right?
Yeah.
She wants to get married. She wants to live on her own. She wants to drive her car. She drives a golf cart now, right? Yeah. And she drives her own doom buggy. So she can do all these things like everybody else. So please. Yeah. So, right, you want them to know. Expect what you expect from everybody else. Because I don't limit you, do I? No, never. I would never limit you, and we don't expect anybody else. So you work with her. She's amazing. If you're having problems, you need to make sure you contact who? If you're having problems with Abby, who do they need to contact?
Me.
Me?
You.
Who? What's my name?
Alberta.
Yeah, Alberta, mommy, right? They need to contact me. And just food for thought. Albert Einstein couldn't talk till he was 4, didn't learn to read till he was 9. Teachers thought he was a slow learner, failed entry examination for college, lost 3 teaching positions, and worked as a patent clerk. So, hey, don't limit her because she's pretty darn amazing. So, Abby laughs, Abby cries. Abby will give you a warm and fuzzy feeling. She's pretty darn amazing. When you meet her, you will never meet another child like her, right? Because you have your own DNA. You're pretty darn...
My DNA.
Yeah. She's a fighter, and she's learned to advocate for herself.
I fight.
Yeah, you are a fighter. And she'll remind you every day who she is, and she'll give you hugs and smiles and dances, and she's going to love you. And today, Abby holds great conversations. She's going to compliment you. She's going to tell you how wonderful you are. She has great manners, right?
Yeah.
She loves being the center of attention, don't you? She loves 90s music, 90s rock, and 80s rock. What's your favorite group? Queen.
Queen.
Yeah, you love Queen. She's extremely physical. She's working on her speech every single day. We do a lot of work at home, right? And she's at home. Do you make your own toast at home?
Yeah.
Do you pour your own milk at home?
Yeah.
Do you go in the refrigerator and get your own food at home?
Yeah.
Do you take your own showers?
Yeah.
Do you take your own baths?
Yeah.
Do you brush your own teeth?
Yeah.
Do you brush your own hair?
Yeah.
Do you put your hair in your ponytails?
Yeah.
Do you get dressed by yourself?
Yeah.
Do you do all these things on your own?
Yes.
And why do you do those things?
You.
Because you're a big girl, right? Because Mommy said, Abby, you're a big girl and you got to do these things because unfortunately we don't live forever as much as we want to. But Abby's got to do this on their own. So please expect what you would do for your children, you do for Abby. You expect it and you do it with her, right? Abby does take ADHD meds, which helps her. She gets them in the morning, so that will definitely help her focus. And when she's focusing, it's pretty darn amazing because you will get a lot out of her. But if you have any questions at all, right, Abby? Mm-hmm. You let us know because we want to make sure this year's the best year, right, Abby?
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to everybody?
Bye.
Bye. We look forward to this new school year. See you later.
Yeah, Christmas. Bye.
Bye.